Well, hello and welcome to my little arty corner of the internet. I draw. That's what I do. I do art a lot. And I thought this would be a nice place to share some things and perhaps tutorials or ideas or whatever. And today I'm having a break from the pattern explorations I've been doing. I haven't been well for a couple of days. Nothing serious. It's just I ate something that didn't agree with me and it's laid me low for a number of days. And yesterday I just had to go to bed and, relax. I'm better today, but not well enough to do work, but well enough to do this, if that makes any sense. No pressure on me here. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different. And a few years ago, I wrote a book. I got 2 pieces of paper and I only need one, called Dangle A, and it was all dangle designs. And I think that's what I'm going to do today. I haven't drawn one of these for a long time, so let's see how we get on. So I actually want a ledge because I'm going to put some plants on here because I like plants. In fact, I'm looking at that and I'm thinking, oh, excuse me, you'll see my hand go over there because I need an eraser. I didn't get one out, did I? But there was one there on my desk. It's a kneaded eraser, but that's fine. In fact, I think I might want some extra. Oh gosh, I've just gone and rumpled that one. Good thing I had 2 pieces of paper then, wasn't it? Uncrumpled. I want some headroom because if I'm going to draw plants, I want plenty of space for plants. And I'm putting this here as kind of the ledge, but with some distance there because I can always adjust that once I've drawn all my plants. I do want to make use though of some of my borders that I've been doing, so let's just draw a ledge like that. So I've got space there to put a border pattern in. And then what I can also do is find the centre-ish. So the easiest way is to use a ruler. It doesn't involve adding up. So, or taking away or dividing. Oh, I've got an awkward number here, so I'm going to make it 10 centimetres wide, so that's 5 centimetres. Yes, I'm British. We work in metric. I can work in inches and so on, but metric is just so much easier, especially as this, I'm working on dot grid paper, by the way. I'm not drawing these lines perfectly straight through hand, parallel to the sides. There's dot grids on here. I don't know if I've set autofocus. Yeah, you can see it. There we go. So we have dot grid there. So that just gives me the centre, so I know that if I want something that's vaguely symmetrical on the top, I can. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'd rather like a plant pot here. Now, there was me going to draw in pencil. I'm thinking, no, I'll do it straight in pen. So when it comes to plant pots, I often draw. This is going to be awkward, isn't it? Let's have a look. If I move this way, is that better? I don't know. So that's my centre line. I'll often draw the rim before I put the pot, the body of the pot in. I find it's an easier way to get my pot vaguely symmetrical. I'm also putting a foot on this pot. It's not very big, it's quite a wide foot. So the sides of these I'm going to make it a pot-bellied pot because I can. And let's have a look. I'm just beginning to realise as I'm drawing this that really I could have done with finding a new pen. I forgot this one is pretty rough, but it's fine. What I'm doing is I'm going over some of the lines to make them that little bit thicker on the left hand side of this pot, so it gives the impression there's a bit more shadow over this side. Okay, now then, what am I going to put here? I do love a heart, and I'm going to put a border there as if it's sat on a ribbon or sat on a border of some kind, like that. So that's a pretty nice pot. Okay, plant, because I'm going to draw the plant next. So I think I'm going to do some just basic leaves. Okay. I don't mind if they're not all the same shape or exactly the same size or orientation, because how many plants are that well organised when they grow? I'm sure you can train them to be well organised and well behaved, but when it comes to drawing them, it's quite nice to do something that's a little bit different, I think. So I've just done just basic, simple plant shapes there. So perhaps if I zoom in a bit, there we go, so you'll be able to see better. Oh, it's a bit fuzzy, isn't it? There we go. We're having a lot. I can tell that I'm not very well still, because my ability to focus is not very good. So that's my first plant. I could get technical and put lots of patterns in here. I'll think about that later on. But let's have another plant pot here, and this one's going to just stick out the back a little bit. And I am, even though it's behind this one, I'm still going to make its foot come out to the front, towards the front, because it's not representational art. It's not meant to be realistic. It's cute and whimsical, so we can do as we like. Okay. So this one, I think I'm going to put some leaves on here that are that kind of shape. So just ups and downs, sort of like little arches. And then I'm going to go and just pop some others in. And yes, I really do sometimes draw on the side, because I do. So that makes something. It looks quite succulent-like, doesn't it? Now here on this bowl, I am going to put a pattern in. Just like that. Which is just fine and dandy. Okay, on the other side, I want another pot. But for this one, I think I'll make it more typical plant pot. The terracotta plant pots. Again, part of it's hidden behind this one, but realism, yeah. Perspective, yeah. Realism, nah, not today. It's Thursday. Okay, and this one I'm going to make it into a cactus. That'll work, won't it? My hand's right in the way, I'm so sorry. But just that dome shape there, and then a smaller one here, a smaller one there, a smaller one there, and a smaller one there. And I'll show you how to turn that into a cactus later on. I am going to put a bottom on this pot, and I think I'll do some dots on it. Okay, now then, what I want to do here is I want a longer pot that I can have some stems growing out of, I think. So I'm going to imagine where they're going to grow from, so that I can have some trailing leaves here. So I'm going to draw those first. And yet my leaves are pointing possibly in the wrong direction, but do you know what? I'm not worried, because we'll pop some more in and nobody will notice. Well, you will now, because I've just mentioned it. What I'm going to do here is I'll pop another strand in. Of course, they would point up this way. I'm not doing anything like hiding them behind one another as such. I'm just going to let them trail as they wish. So we have one that goes really long, all the way down there, because that would look quite nice. Sort of like will slot together quite nicely and make quite a froth here. I'm not drawing this terribly wonderfully, but it's good enough. And just a shorter one here. Wasn't really looking at how well I varied the lengths of these. That's going to be my last one there, so I'm just going to spin this around so I can make sense of the lines of the pot I drew here. There, and it goes along there and there, and then I can have the base of the pot along here. Oops, just gone into a leaf. That's okay. So that pot isn't quite so easy to see, but it's quite nice to have something that flows over the edge. Now I could have left the pot out thinking about it, because that's what I'm going to do here. Zentanglers will recognise this as, I think it's a form of flux, which is just growing out from, I don't know, the ground, a rock, a stone, anything here. It looks like some rich kind of tropical plant, doesn't it? So I've got some plants here. Okay. And do I want to add something to this? I don't know. Gutted about that one, because I've really made a mess of that. But it's okay. I think what I'm going to do on this side is I'm going to pop a little shell in there, and on this side I'm going to pop a bigger shell in. Why? Because I like shells. I particularly like shells like this, ammonites. And then I'm just going to finish off my ledge here. So the tricky bit is not to draw through leaves. It's okay. I've got this one here, and then I am going to draw this one in. Now I deliberately didn't have these leaves spilling all the way down past this, because this is going to be my ledge from which I dangle some dangle designs. Okay, so the next job is to create a pattern in here. Now the simplest one in the world to do would be Knightsbridge, but we're not going to do Knightsbridge today. I am going to pop my wobbly lines in. Well, that's quite handy, because that stem there is exactly on the mark where the patterns would be. So okay, I'm going to go up there. So the next one would be from here, here-ish, going down to there. From here it'd be up to there, down. That worked out well. That was not by design. I didn't stop and think about it. I just went with it, and I would have worked with it however it worked out. So there's a lot of this zigzaggy would actually be hidden behind those leaves. I'll do this one at the bottom. Again, some of it is where the leaves are drawn, so you just have to imagine it goes behind. So there's that. And then I've got this inside one to do. These are the most awkward around this plant. So I've got one that will go there, this one will come down there, there, and there. This one will go up from here to there. And then this one will go down to there, and then the rest of it's all plain sailing. So drawing individual diamonds today. Why? Well, because I can. And it's quite nice to do, to vary how you draw something. Sometimes I think it gives me other ideas. Oh, I could do that. This is what this reminds me of. Now then, the one thing I wanted to do at the top is I've got flower pots, but no flowers. So for this one, I'm just going to have round flowers like this with a few petals sticking out the top, because who says flowers have to look like real flowers? In my world, they can be anything that you want them to be. What I will do is give them a bit of interest at the bottom. And I could actually have one coming out here. Should be quite nice. And again, 3 petals sticking out the top. And I think I will get one going quite high up, because I can. So that works quite nicely. That's an interesting looking strange plant. I've got, doesn't look all that balanced though, does it? Doesn't matter, let's draw some in here. For this middle one, I'm going to do some rather large sort of tulip shaped plants. Like this. And yeah, I'm doing some of my more architectural kind of stems going on here. These ones look more like bamboo than they do anything else. Now I do want another flower here, so where am I going to be able to put this in? Have a look, let's pop one all the way up here. I'm going to have to imagine where that line goes behind. And I have that one bending down. Oh, look at that one, it just grazes the tip of that. Have a bendy stem here. Now that flower does look a bit out of place as it's so big, but it's okay. And here I think I could pop in another one of these and pretend the stem goes down there. Perhaps pop another one in just here, so that I've got frothy leaves there, so I can have frothy flowers. So that's quite nice. These leaves here I think can also have some flowers growing out of them, but I think they're just going to be quite small. Perhaps, or perhaps they're not flowers, perhaps they're just more leaves growing out and up. I can live with that though. It all depends what you decide to colour them in. So that's the start of my weird and wonderful garden. The last thing I want to do is I'm going to turn my weird plant here into a cactus. There's a couple of ways of doing that. I could draw like dotted lines or lines with V's on, or I could put circles, and I think I'm tempted to put little circles as if there's some spines there. And I'm going to put these little circles in as if I am bending them. Because by doing them as if they're in an arch rather than a straight line, you get a feeling more that these could be spikes and spines. Okay, and the last thing I want to do is on the tops of these, I am going to pop some flowers, because cacti flower as well. I once grew cacti from seeds, and I did actually get some plants from it. I was a teenager, but sadly the grown-up plants didn't last very long with me. I'm making a right pig's ear today of my line work. But tell you what, I'm not too worried because I have plans. I have plans. See, I could almost put the bottom of a flower in there, but I quite like having some open space. Okay, let me turn my attention to these here. I'm just going to draw a smaller version of the lozenge, the diamond in here. It'd be quite nice, and that means I need to do the same with these outside edges, because it looks a bit odd if I don't. So I've got these. What can I do with these now? I'm thinking, I know I'm going to put a bead in the middle. Very strange drawing something so big with such a fine pen. But yeah, that's what I'm doing. So there we are. Right, so this essentially is my top bit. Okay, so that's a pretty garden. Just zoom out so you can see. There's a pretty garden on the top. Now comes the fun bit, because underneath here I'm going to add some dangles, and I want to space them out, so I've got space. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, I was right there. Okay, so I've got space for them, and I am going to draw them straight away. It's been a long time since I've drawn anything, things like this. So what I want here is I need a fixing for a dangle to dangle from. So I'm just doing it like backwards C or a D. And I am actually doing it so it looks like a ring, half a ring embedded in my platform. And then you've got to have some beads. And I'm making those beads go a little bit smaller in size down here. And I'll be trying to keep this centralized around this particular pencil line around this dangle, so they don't appear to loop and weave, though they can. And this is where the fun begins, because I am going to pop this here. I'm going to pop some beads on the end, and I'm going to 2, 4, 6, 2, 6. I am going to make it 8 little squares long. So if you're drawing along with me, you can follow this. Now, what am I going to do in here? It's perfect for a pattern and design. Not a very straight line there, but it's fine. Now then, I've got diamonds here, so let's play with diamond shapes here, but instead of straight lines, I'm going to make these leaf shapes. I'm getting a diamond in the middle, but I'm zigzagging these down the side, so it's sort of, it's an echo of the pattern there. I will do more with that pattern. My brain is just thinking around what I want to do with it, because it does look a bit bare, just a bit. So I've got that one there. So I'm going to work on this, and I am going to do a kind of diamond shape. It's a diamond with its sides have been pinched in shape there, and on these sides I decided I want to put these. I'm not sure this was a good idea, but I've decided to do it, so we shall go with it. And the same here and here. So if I was to put another one side by side, we'd actually get four of these beads side by side, so you'd get different fills for the repeating pattern, which would be quite nice. So I do want to put a border around the edge of this, so I will do that. I don't mind that it goes into these beads on the end, and I'm going to add another bead here, and a smaller one, and a bigger one, and a smaller one. Unusual for me, because I prefer to have an odd number, because that's how I like to work. And then I am going to put a kind of bead shape, a circle within a circle there, and I'm going to use a heart this way and a heart that way. Another bead, and a bigger bead, and a smaller bead, and then on the end you can see I've just put like an elongated bead there, and perhaps another elongated one, and then I'm going to put an upside down teardrop there, and I think I may add some lines in there. These hearts, I'm going to draw a smaller heart inside each one. And then what I'm going to do here, I'm going to draw 2 sort of like loops there. Narrower at the bottom, bigger at the top, because I'm going to create this kind of shape. I'm imagining that I'm splitting the space between the middle one and the heart in half as I draw them. It's not perfect there. So that is one. Oh, hang on. These here could do with something inside them. These are great fun for creating something different with tangle patterns, I think, or with small sections of tangle patterns, because you can make all of these lovely ornaments that just hang off the design. It's a different way of using them. So it's quite heavy, this one. The ones on the side, I think I'll see if I can make them a bit lighter. But what I'm going to do here to make the fixing, now I could do these identical, and I think I'm tempted to, because that will kind of go with my sense of my love of symmetry, but it's not essential. Okay, so what could I put here instead of? I'm not going to make them exactly the same. It's a bit of a wonky square inside, but it's okay. And again, I'm going to make use of a design element from up here, so a chevron, well, more like a cross, and I'll just do it very simply like that. Another square, or another circle even, and then what I'll do, I think, turn this one so it's now a diamond shape, and I'll put the cross in this way. So just by orientating that pattern, that design, slightly different way, I get something that feels quite different, but it's exactly the same. So let's do just one more here. Really simple way of adding pattern. Okay, now I know I don't want to make this one as long as this one, so I think I want to come to a stop here and here. So I'll just put a pencil line down there to remind me. And so I need to do something in this section here. I've got flowers, so what I was doing there was judging this to make it about the same size as this one. Doesn't have to be exact. Okay, and then in between them I'm going to put a circle. I'm going to put a couple more circles in there, because this is going to be the centre of a flower. So I'm going to have one petal going there, another one down there. So the petals down here are going to be that little bit shorter, but so I'm putting petals at 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and then petals in between. Like so. And I am just going to put a little line there, just to add a bit of interest. And then that was my line shape there on my, so I am going to go a little bit further down. I will mark that there, so I've got them roughly equal. Oh no, yeah, it is. Head going strange. So this one, what can I put here, she says? Well, I've got some shells up there, so how about one of these shells, and perhaps another one of those shells? No prizes for guessing what next. A bead. And then another one of these shells, I think. I do like things, if I can, that are repeated in odd numbers like this. So I've got shells, and I think it would be nice to have another flower. I didn't have any of these up here, but I'm guessing these could be like them, I suppose. But I am going to pop one of these here. And then I will add its stem. But instead of doing those lumpy bumpy bits, I'm going to do a couple of leaves, have a bead at the bottom, and a small bead and a heart, little bead on the end of that. So that's quite interesting. I have got space on the end here if I want to have a couple of more things. I could put something down there, but I think that would just get too crowded. So that's my dangle design. So what am I going to do with this? Well, I'm going to have a look and see if I can add any more detail with pen. But I'm up to, was it 36 minutes? And what I'm tempted, what I'm tempted to do, what I'm likely to do is to scan this in and then add colour digitally, because that's how I work. But it could be done if you draw this onto paper. This is dot grid paper, so I did it deliberately on here. But these can be worked out with a ruler if you want, or by sight. If it's a bit wonky, it doesn't matter. But this here is bugging me just a tad, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pop That Feels Better automatically. It just feels that some bits of this particular border pattern were just too wide. So by popping an aura around these chevron shapes, I suddenly feel a lot better about this. I know what else I'm going to do is between these lines, I am going to put some lines that join them. I'm not even going to try there. Let's see. So I'm splitting these up into smaller sections with spillovers of lines. So I'm not worried. Digital art is fab. And then what I can do, what I am going to do, so I'm going to decide that these sides, ones to the left of these lines, well, we've got these points going down, so the side on the left is going to be filled in with very poorly drawn shattuck. So I'm doing this. I'd just like to say thank you to everybody who's liked, subscribed, left comments for me. It's all very much appreciated. I can't tell you how much I appreciate you doing that. And for letting me know that you enjoy drawing along. So I'm trying to learn how to, or trying to be aware of where I put my art and my hand and so on, so there's a hope that you can see what I'm doing. I'm not doing a very good job here today. This really is the first piece of drawing I've done. Okay, so there would be some behind here which I can do. And this is more or less done here. I'm just going to put some lines in there. And here I'm just guessing how the lines go together, because ultimately it's not that important. Not today anyway. And I really am making a pig's ear out of drawing these lines, let me tell you. So yeah, so I appreciate each and every one of you very, very much. I don't feel like I'm talking to myself anymore, which is lovely. And thank you to all of the new subscribers. You're all very, very welcome here. It wasn't that long ago I set myself a target of getting to 100 subscribers, and I now have nearly 200, which isn't a huge amount in the grand scheme of YouTubers, but for me that's quite an achievement, I think. So thank you very much, everybody. I say a goal, it wasn't really a goal. I think it just seemed that it was time for me to set up a YouTube channel when I did, or to restart it, because I tried a couple of years back and I just couldn't get into it. But it just felt the right time a while ago, and I don't know why. Perhaps I'll be able to look back later on and realise why. So there we are. Now shadows, highlights, colours are all going to be fab here. What I am going to do is I'm going to put a circle up here for a highlight, so they look like berries or beads. I could do the same with the others. I'm going to pop one in there, even though there wouldn't be one in there. And then I may add other details. Let's have a look. There we go. So this is a dangle design, as I've said. I say it's quite a simple one. It's a lot more ornate than perhaps I would have done in the book, but you know, I know I've got a lot of people watching who do Zentangle and enjoy tiny details. Part of me thinks I really should have carried this on here, seeing as I've put the shadow in there. But you'll see that. So what I'll do with this, after I've had my very late lunch or very early dinner, is I'm going to scan this in and I'll colour it in and you'll be able to see it. So I hope you've enjoyed this for something a bit different. What could you do with this? Well, it could be sent as, you know, mounted on a card blank and sent as a greeting card, a small picture, in a bullet journal for a month. So here you know, across here you could put one big sort of like plaque or something with the month in, and flowers and plants that go with that particular month that grow that you associate, or other things. They're a lot of fun to do, and I don't know why I don't draw them more often now. I don't. I think I just got waylaid and sidetracked with other things as well. So let me know if you'd like to do some more dangle designs. I have many. This isn't one that I've done previously, this is new. But the ideas are there, and it's easy to adapt and change once you've got the idea of what they are. So anyway, I'm wittering, so thank you ever so much for joining me. Please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you back here again soon. Take care now. Bye-bye. Bye.